What is up, everybody? It is your boy Avery, and in this video, just like the title says, I'm going to talk about a few misconceptions that come with the understanding of demisexuality and a demisexual lifestyle. So I do want to unpack a lot of the questions that I have gotten since that first video about demisexuality, and there's a lot of misconceptions too. If this is your first time on my channel, if this is your first time seeing any of my videos, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited for this video. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. We're actually gonna do this video out and about as we chat about this topic, and that's something different because I usually always record in my house. I do have other topics on my channel. Feel free and browse through, see what you like. Hit that like button if you like a video, and subscribe if you want to see a bit more. Let's get out of here. I'm actually just dressed and ready to go. Let me head over to Manhattan. Thank you. Got my tea. We ready to start this chitty chat. As we know, demisexuality is on the asexual spectrum. If you want to know a little bit more about it, tune into my first video on the topic. Because I'm not going to repeat what I kind of already talked about. I'm just going to keep going and answer some of the questions that are given to me. And the first one is what it's like dating in 2022, right? And being demisexual. And also being gay, because that kind of like switches it up. I feel like heterosexual people have a different way of dating than gay people do, especially in 2022. And I can't speak on the whole acronym of LGBTQ because I only identify as a man who's gay. So I can tell y'all how it is, like, being a gay person. To be honest with y'all, it's hard. It's hard for numerous reasons. The whole quarantine thing fucked up everything. It made everybody weird. And then it made everyone be all like electronic at that. It's like nothing ever happens socially and in person anymore. It's like very rare for that human to human contact to just naturally happen. Everything is like social media, in the DMs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You either have that account where you're like looking for, a little something fast, or you have that account where you're looking to meet somebody, like Tinder, right? And it's like everything is now on social media. So that within itself makes it hard to meet people. And then on top of that, to be demisexual, you have like your own taste. Like you have like your own standards. It's more like standards and what you look for, like what you're willing to settle for, who you're willing to work with, who you're not willing to work with, your pace in getting to know a person, your pace in getting to that sexual level. And let's be real, in this day and age, 2022, everyone wants to get there fast. They want to see what it's like with that person, whether or not they want to talk to you after or they have intentions of talking to you and maintaining that relationship with you. They still want to see what it's like. Most people feel like, or a lot of people feel like, it's not going to be worth it if they have that experience with you and they don't like it to continue to talk with you. You know what I'm saying? Although it's shallow, it's kind of like the world that we live in. Aside from everything being electronic, right? And everything being like everyone meeting each other on social media and shit. So that makes it even more hard to be gay and demisexual. Because now you're limited to guys who are also very sexualized. You know what I'm saying? It's like fetishized, and it's like being gay. Come on, our hormones, we're already guys. So the standard being demisexual, wanting to take your time with people, is very rare. It's very, 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 very rare. So yeah, to answer that question, it's hard. It's hard for all of those reasons combined. And I'm sure that a lot of people may feel their own individual reasons too. Because in a sense, demisexuality, you put 10 people who identify as asexual in the same room, and all of them are going to be slightly different. You know, some of them may have some things in common, some of them may have some similarities, but all of them are going to be different, like so different, you know, in their views and their standards of what it's like to either become sexual with someone or to love someone or to get into a relationship with them. Some people have asked me if I have used hookup apps or dating apps being a gay demisexual person, and I have, to be honest with y'all. Like, I have nothing to hide, you know, like I have my needs, I'm a person. When you're demisexual or when you identify as that, there's not like one set mold or like one set in stone way that you're supposed to be. Like, we're not robots, you know, like we don't have programs, you know, like we can decide what's okay for us. Like, that's what it is like being a person. But it just so happens when you feel or realize that you identify on the asexual spectrum, or if you notice that you are asexual, it's just those things fit for you and you feel at home, like they make you feel comfortable, you know? And most people who are like on the furthest spectrum of asexual, like sex is just not something that's on their mind. Even if they get into the option to do so, sometimes it just doesn't even work. You know, sometimes they're just not sexual people. And the truth about demisexuality is that you're somewhere along that spectrum. So what's right for you can only be determined by you. So if that being said means that you do look forward to using certain apps, to meeting certain people, that's up to you. And that can only be up to you, you know? However, if it doesn't make you feel right, if it doesn't make you feel okay, then stop doing it. That's what I would say. And I have definitely went through times where it was okay for me. And then I went through times where I was like, it's not for me at all. And that's just what it is in the lifestyle, you know, that's just what it is being demisexual. You're gonna have times where you wanna do it, and you might have times where you're like, no, it's not for me at all. So your question, yes. Have I been on dating apps? I have, like Tinder and stuff like that. It just so happens, like in my experiences, like I was saying earlier, most people are looking for sexual experiences. Let's be real. We're adults, you know, like this is 2022. Most people are looking for that. So it's gonna get there, especially in the dating app. Sometimes it gets there really quickly. Sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on, let's make this light. It really depends on how you work it out yourself. You know, every individual is so different, but it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible to feel comfortable on a dating app. And it's like, how else are you meeting people if that's not what you're using right now? Some people might argue that if you have a hookup period, you might not be demisexual at all. And the truth is that that's not true at all. It's just the way that the hookup happens is a lot differently. You know, what defines someone as demisexual is basically you have to have that emotional connection and with that person and, you know, feel comfortable with that person to get to that level. And the truth is those hookups, like hookups for someone who is demisexual, would basically be a lot more comforting. Like there would be a lot more talking involved, like they would get to know each other and they would get to that level. It is definitely possible, and I feel that some people may argue for the sake of the definition from the dictionary, but the truth is we're people, you know, as I have been saying, and not everyone is going to be based off of the dictionary, and that's completely fine. However, of course, there is a limit, you know, like if you are sexual, that's just different. it is very possible for someone who is demisexual to have a hookup, and it's very normal and it's very natural because, you know, everyone craves connections, everyone craves intimacy, and they happen sometimes, you know. It's just the way they happen are very different. Be slightly different from your normal, like, bang, bang, boom, you know, bam. They might take a few hours of hanging out and getting to know the person and possibly even sharing information and stuff like that and continuously getting to know that person versus just bam, come over, bam, that's it, bam. You know, it's very different. You get to a certain level where you don't allow people to tell you about yourself and how you define yourself, and that's very important, you know, especially for us people. We have to normalize owning ourselves, normalize owning our sexuality. And if you feel that demisexuality is something that you side with and something that really describes you, that's perfectly fine, you know, and only you could describe yourself. So he was fat. So my last question was, can demisexuals hook up? And I know that I somewhat answered that with some of what I already spoke about. But to go a little bit more in depth in there, most demisexuals want to be very comfortable with the person that they are, you know, getting involved with. And comfort is different for everyone. You know, what people define as comfort is really individual, and it's really subjective to the person, to the person who's deciding if it makes them comfortable or not, right? So that being said, yes, absolutely. You know, just like how I mentioned earlier about myself, there have been times that I did feel it was okay to use certain apps, and there were times that I didn't. That doesn't make me less demisexual than how I identify, and that doesn't mean that someone can go and say like, oh, well, he's not demisexual. Because this is the thing, it's not a black and white. It's more of a gray area, to be honest with you. You know, asexuality can be defined in so many different ways. It really is what makes you feel comfortable and wholesome at the end of the day. So if hookups work for you, then it works. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. But the truth of the matter is, most demisexuals feel more comfortable getting involved when they have a relationship with that person, when they have a mental and emotional relationship with that person and connection. The most important thing is connection, but it's really up to that individual to decide if they feel connected or not. So no one can decide for you. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And no one should make you feel less of a person if that is right for you. And if you decide in that moment it's okay, but then a month later you have another opportunity with a different person and you decide it's not okay, it's completely up to you. I feel like I talked your ears off, and I feel like I walked 5 miles. I'm gonna show y'all my background right now. New York City is fab, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna walk backwards a little bit too so y'all could get to see what it's looking like back there. But if you watch this video this far, I hope that I helped you understand a little bit more about demisexuality. I really did aim to knock down some of the misconceptions of demisexuality as well, and just make people feel a little bit more comfortable within their decision-making abilities and understanding themselves as well. If you have any other questions, you know, I do appreciate all of the likes. I appreciate the people who wrote me personally on my Instagram and just asking a lot of questions and just really interested in getting to know themselves a lot more. So yeah, thank you to everyone who supports and who watched this video this far. It's your boy Avery 3V, and I'm getting out of here.